hostages, I know you don't want to talk about details, but some of the information that was leaked out, that basically they will release 80 women and children in return for women and Palestinian children who are in Israeli jails. Can you take this question? If you don't know the answer, please. Can you please tell us if Israel, if you're aware that Israel is holding Palestinian children in jail? Just take the question so you can verify it.
So I am just not going to speak to hostage negotiations with respect to that factual question. That's a question for the government of Israel. But as it relates to hostage negotiations, I'm not going to speak to that at all.
Okay. The Israeli Foreign Minister said that the Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, is not qualified to lead the UN or the world. Do you agree with him? And how do you differentiate between somebody who is obviously being critical of Israel and people who are going to be labeled as anti-Semitic? How can we have this debate where there's legitimate criticism of Israel and not be put in the category that people are anti-Semitic?
So with respect to the first one, I will let the foreign minister speak to his own comments, but I'll say we support the work that the UN has done to get humanitarian relief into Israel. We'll continue to work with the UN and its various agencies to try to get relief into Israel, and that includes with, of course, the Secretary General. And with respect to the first question, of course, legitimate criticism of Israel is appropriate, just as criticism of any government is appropriate. We welcome criticism of our government. I won't speak for other governments. Obviously, many governments don't welcome such criticism around the world, but that's a different matter than anti-Semitism, which we very much abhor and condemn.
And finally, there's a lawsuit, I don't know if you're aware of it, against the Secretary of State, the President, and the Defense Secretary in New York. It was filed yesterday in a federal court, and they're saying basically that they failed to prevent and aid in genocide in Gaza. Are you aware of this case?
I've seen the litigation, but I won't comment on litigation. I'll refer that to the Justice Department for comment.